Welcome back to the deep dive. So today we're packing our bags, virtually at least, and we're heading straight into the heart of the Asia-Pacific region. But we aren't looking at travel guides. And we're definitely not talking about where to find the best street food, although that's a topic for another
A
day.
very worthy topic, yes. But today we're talking about something more fundamental. The infrastructure of life abroad. Frankly, it's usually the biggest headache for anyone trying to, be a global citizen.
Oh, absolutely. The logistics can be a total nightmare. And honestly, the landscape of how we do this, how we find that roof over our head, it's changing so fast.
It really is.
We're pulling our insights today from a stack of data provided by moveandstay.com, and I have to say, looking at their background is fascinating. They've been the go-to for business travelers for over 25 years.
25 years, I mean, that's a lifetime in the tech and travel world.
Right.
Think about it. 25 years ago, how were we booking accommodation? There were probably fax machines involved.
I don't even want to think about that. But Move and Stay has been there through it all. They specialize in service departments, hotels, and serviced offices.
The extended stay stuff.
Exactly, not just a weekend trip. So they see the trends before almost anyone else. And right now they're flagging a massive shift in how people live in hubs like Singapore and Hong Kong.
And this shift, it isn't just about a new app or some shiny booking platform. This is brick and mortar, concrete and steel.
Yeah.
We are seeing huge institutional money moving into urban real estate to basically change the rental game.
Which brings us to our main character for today's deep dive, a company called Weave Living.
Weave Living.
If you haven't heard of them yet, you probably will. They're a rental accommodation provider,
Yeah,
but calling them a landlord, it just feels inadequate.
it really does. And just to validate why we're talking about a rental company, I mean, this isn't just real estate news. This is a huge signal about the future of urban mobility. Weave Living is backed by Warburg Pincus,
Which is a massive private equity firm.
a titan. I mean, when you have that level of capital backing a specific vision for housing, it means they're not just betting on a building. They're betting on a behavioral shift.
A shift in how we live.
Exactly. They believe that professionals, entrepreneurs, even families, they're fundamentally changing how they consume housing in these super dense Asian cities.
So our mission today is to unpack these strategic acquisitions that Weave Living is making. We need to figure out what it means for you, the listener, if you're planning a relocation or even just a long work trip to the APAC region.
Right.
Because if the big money is betting on this, your options for where to live are about to look very different.
Okay, let's get into the machinery of it.
Okay, so let's unpack the player here first. Weave Living, what's their actual goal? Because they're not just buying buildings and putting up for rent signs, are they?
No, absolutely not. Their stated goal is, and I quote, to reshape urban living. They're moving beyond the simple rental model. They're creating what they call upgraded service departments and flexible rental options.
Flexible. That's the magic word there, isn't it?
It is the currency of the modern professional. I mean, think about the friction of moving to a new city like Hong Kong or Singapore. Usually you have two bad choices. Choice, a sterile, overpriced hotel room. You're living out of a suitcase, eating club sandwiches every night.
Depressing.
Or choice B, a traditional lease. You got to buy furniture, set up utilities, fight with the internet provider.
And sign a 2-year contract.
Exactly. We've trying to sit right in that middle ground.
That sweet spot.
That's it. They're targeting a mix of professionals, tourists, and long-term tenants. And what's interesting is their strategy covers both co-living, which we've seen a lot of, and the traditional multifamily residential market.
And they aren't doing it alone. This really jumped out at me in the source material, the scale of their partnerships. We're talking global heavyweights like BlackRock and Li and Bang.
And that right there is the tell. When a global asset manager like BlackRock gets involved, it validates the whole sector. It basically says, we believe flexible living is a high-growth area. It stops being, a niche trend for millennials and becomes a serious asset class where pension funds park their money.
Okay, so let's see where that money is actually going. Let's start with Singapore. I love Singapore, the food, the efficiency, but wow, that real estate market is intense.
To put it mildly, it's one of the most competitive in the world.
And Weave is diving right in. They just closed a massive deal in the Novena district. Let me just have to break down these numbers because they are staggering. We've acquired a service department property there for $100 million.
Wow, 100 million Singapore dollars. That is a serious entry ticket.
It is, for a 99-unit tower, and they're going to rebrand it as Weave Suites Novena.
And Novena is a very strategic choice, too. If you're not familiar with Singapore's geography, Novena is on the edge of the central business district. But crucially, it's a huge medical hub.
Oh, okay.
It has major hospitals, specialist centers.
So they aren't just looking for the typical banker.
No, by picking Novena, they're positioning themselves for medical professionals, visiting specialists, maybe even families there for treatment who need a place for, say, 3 to 6 months. It's an established premium area.
And they're not just slapping a new logo on the door, right? A plan is a complete upgrade set for 2026.
Which tells you they're playing the long game.
Hmm.
This is what we call an asset enhancement initiative. They're betting that by stripping the building back, redesigning it, they can command much higher rents.
The amenities list reads like a luxury hotel, but warmer. It says open plan layouts, wellness facilities, family-friendly amenities. The source specifically mentions it's designed to feel less like a temporary hotel and more like a home.
And that distinction is crucial. It's crucial for that move-and-stay demographic.
Yeah.
If you're a consultant sent to Singapore for 6 months, or you're an entrepreneur setting up an office, do you really want to come home to a hotel lobby with tourists taking selfies every night?
Probably not.
No. You want a home, but you want the professional management of a hotel. And that's exactly what Weave is building.
And if we zoom out a bit, this Novena deal, it isn't just an isolated incident, is it?
Not at all. This deal brings their total portfolio in Singapore to roughly 500 units.
Across 4 properties. And the valuation on that?
It's over $500 million.
$500 million.
Half a billion Singapore dollars just in one city, tied up in this flexible living idea. That shows some serious confidence.
That is wild. But if you think $500 million is a lot, let's hop on a plane and head north to Hong Kong. Because if they are building in Singapore, they are absolutely powering ahead in Hong Kong.
Hong Kong is their home turf, in a way. And the aggression there is really something else. I mean, the market dynamics in Hong Kong have been fascinating recently, and Weave is just capitalizing.
Let's start with the Sheung Wan deal. They secured a property, Largos Residences.
Yeah.
Price tag on that, approximately HK $585 million.
Which added about 44 apartments to their portfolio.
Hold on, let me just pause on that math. Almost 600 million Hong Kong dollars for 44 apartments.
Welcome to Hong Kong real estate.
Yeah.
It's still one of the most expensive places on earth to buy property.
Wow.
But you have to look at the location. Sheung Wan is incredibly trendy. It's right next to Central, the banking heart of the city. It's where the cool young professionals want to be. You know, coffee shops, art galleries, bars. It fits the Weave brand perfectly.
That makes sense. But what's even more interesting to me is the other deal they made. Because they also made a move into the mid-levels.
Yes. They bought a 24-story building there for HK $295 million. Now, for anyone who doesn't know Hong Kong, can you paint a picture of the mid-levels?
It's the escalator. It's that fancy expat enclave literally halfway up the mountain.
Precisely. It's traditionally very expensive, very exclusive. Well, let's call it old school.
Right.
You've got individual landlords who've owned these units for decades. You sign a strict lease, you buy your own furniture. For Weave to buy a whole building there and turn it into a pure rental apartment property it's a big deal.
It feels like they're crashing the party.
In a way, they are. They're bringing that flexible, fully managed model, which usually lives in the younger, funkier districts up the hill, to the premium sector.
So they're betting that the senior execs want this too.
They're betting that the managing director doesn't want to buy a sofa for a 2-year posting any more than the fresh grad does. They're disrupting the old guard.
And they're doubling down, right? There's another new opening on Robinson Road, also in the mid-levels.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the vibe is described as fully furnished, design-forward apartments for discerning city dwellers.
Design forward is such a key phrase here. I feel like we see that a lot on moveandstay.com listings. It's not just about a roof, it's about the aesthetic. It has to look good.
It's Instagrammable living. It's aspirational. It needs to look like a boutique hotel when you walk in, not a spare room.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting for me. The future pipeline. Because buying apartment buildings is one thing, but Weave is reportedly in talks to acquire 2 additional hotels in Kowloon.
And this is a massive pivot point.
If these deals close, it would boost their Hong Kong portfolio by nearly 800 rooms.
800 rooms. That is a huge jump in inventory.
It is. So why hotels? Why buy a hotel just to turn it into long-stay accommodation?
Yeah, let's unpack that. Because it seems to be a real trend.
Is it just because they're cheap right now?
It comes down to market dynamics and speed. Hong Kong's been recovering from a tough few years, right? Economic slowdowns, a big drop in tourism. A lot of hotel owners have been bleeding cash.
So it's a buyer's market for those kinds of assets.
Exactly. There's a wave of these transactions happening. Hotel owners might be looking for an exit. Meanwhile, Weave looks at a hotel and sees good bones. It has plumbing in every room. It has elevators, a lobby.
So they can convert it much faster.
Much faster than building a tower from scratch.
Yeah.
They're essentially recycling the city's infrastructure.
That's a great way to put it.
And they're positioning themselves for the rebound in travel, but they're betting that the type of travel is changing.
Which brings us right back to that moveandstay.com perspective.
It does. I mean, Move and Stay has been in this exact niche service departments, service offices for 25 years. They know that business travel isn't just a 3-day conference anymore.
Right. If I'm a user on their site, say an entrepreneur setting up a satellite office in Hong Kong, this consolidation by Weave is exactly what I need. I need something better than a hotel where I can't even cook a meal, but I definitely don't want a yearly lease that locks me in.
That is the gap. And Move and Stay has been servicing that gap for decades. But the product available in that gap is getting so much better. It used to be just these dusty old service departments that felt like 1990s corporate housing. You know, the type beige carpets, heavy curtains.
I can smell that description.
Right. Now companies like Weave are coming in and saying, no, it should be a premium lifestyle experience. And it directly benefits the business traveler or expat using platforms like Move and Stay because the quality of the inventory is just skyrocketing.
It's lifestyle as a service.
In a way, yeah.
So let's talk about the consumer experience. So what, for you, the listener, who is actually going to live in these places?
The source material is pretty broad, which is smart on their part. They mention students, professionals, and families.
That's a wide net. Usually you have to pick a lane.
It is, but they have different product lines. They've got affordable studios for, say, a student or young grad, and then they have the upscale service suites in the mid-levels for the CEO.
So it's like an ecosystem. You could graduate from the studio to the suite as your career progresses, but you stay within the Weave brand.
That's the dream for any brand, isn't it? Customer retention through life cycle changes.
The CEO of Weave Living, Sachin Doshi, had a quote in the notes. What's his vision here?
His message is all about redefining urban accommodation. And yeah, it sounds like corporate speak, but think about what it actually means. Urban accommodation has been static for decades. You either rent or you buy.
Right.
He's trying to introduce a third way that's defined by service and flexibility.
In professional management.
That's the real kicker.
I think that's the aha moment for me. It's the removal of friction. We talked about Move and Stay making it easy to find a place, but Weave is making it easy to live in that place. I remember trying to rent a place abroad once, and just figuring out how to pay the internet bill was a 3-day ordeal.
Or dealing with a leaky faucet when you don't speak the language and the landlord lives in a different country.
Absolute nightmare.
Weave, and by extension, the curated list you'd find on Move and Stay, just removes all that. You have a management team, you have an app, you have a front desk, effectively. It turns housing into a hospitality product.
The hotelification of the home.
That's a perfect way to put it. And for the demographic we're talking about, global professionals, people who value their time above all else, that's a massive value proposition. They will pay a premium to not deal with the internet bill.
Absolutely. I'd pay double to not deal with the internet setup.
You and me both. But it goes beyond just utilities. It's about community, too. These buildings often have shared spaces, lounges, gyms, rooftops. If you move to a new city alone, that built-in community is invaluable.
Yeah, it beats sitting alone in a regular apartment block where you don't even know your neighbors.
Exactly. And Move and Stay has built trust with professionals for 25 years, precisely because they understand this need. It's not just about a bed. It's about a soft landing in a new culture.
So let's look at the board. We've got Weave spending hundreds of millions. We've got BlackRock signing off. We've got properties popping up in the most expensive districts of Singapore and Hong Kong. What does this all mean when we put it together?
Well, if we connect it to the bigger picture, it means the days of the old expat package, where your company just sorted everything out for you. Those are changing. People are more independent now. They move on their own terms.
And they need housing that reflects that agility.
Exactly. For a long time, we had these digital nomad lifestyles trying to squeeze into an analog housing market. Now the market is finally digitizing. It's becoming flexible.
And Move and Stay is essentially the search engine for this new infrastructure.
Right. So whether you're an entrepreneur using MoveInStay.com for a relocation, or you're an investor watching the Asian real estate market, this consolidation signals that flexible living is the new standard. It's not an alternative anymore. It's the benchmark.
It's just amazing to think that 25 years ago, Move and Stay was pioneering this niche, and now multi-billion-dollar funds are pouring money into it to make it the norm.
It validates the whole model. The way we live in cities is fluid. Our housing needs to be fluid too. The strict lines between tourist, business traveler, and resident, they're all dissolving.
So here's a provocative thought to leave you with. We talked about Weave potentially buying hotels to convert them into homes.
Yes.
As companies like Weave Living convert more and more hotels into these serviced homes, and as the quality of these places skyrockets, better design, full kitchens, community events, are we seeing the end of the traditional hotel stay, at least for the business traveler?
That is the multi-million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
If I can get a suite with a kitchen and a living room for the same price as a tiny hotel room, and I can book it just as easily, why would I ever choose the hotel?
Why, indeed. The hotel, the apartment, the office, it's all just merging into one flexible, design-forward experience.
And the winner, at the end of the day, is the consumer who gets more choice and a better quality of life on the road.
Exactly. If this conversation has sparked your curiosity, maybe you're planning a move, or you just want to see what a design-forward co-living space actually looks like, go explore MoveInStay.com. They've been at this for a quarter of a century. They know where the hidden gems are. You can see these types of properties for yourself and get a sense of what the future of living abroad really looks like.
It's worth a look just for the interior design inspiration alone.
True. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the changing skylines of Asia. We'll catch you on the next one.
Stay curious.